of people without making them put on that Martha Stewart bracelet. You know, at 3 p.m., Vinny and Cheech, separately, and you know, because their cell phones are separate, arrive, and you'll excuse the lasagna joke, at Don Vito Lasagna Social Club. 15 minutes later, Don Vito arrives. Immediately following Don Vito's arrival, 3 guys in there, Eddie the Hook, Tommy One-Eye, and Bobby the Butcher, depart the social club. And they're shown for the next 45 minutes within 100 feet of the Router and Spanky's Boom Boom Lounge. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole thing I normally go through with law enforcement groups. What happened? Don Vito came in, said, "You 3 guys get out of here, I got to talk to these people." Those 3 guys go down the block, they hang out in the bar. At 4 o'clock, Eddie and Tommy and Bobby return to the club, Vinny and Cheech leave. Conversation's over. Don Vito told them what they need to know. 2:25 in the morning, those 2 guys who've been briefed by Don Vito meet Eduardo the Mule on the docks. And we know that because we're tracing his SIM card. 2 days later, in all of Don Vito's territory, there's an influx of a new type of Colombian cocaine. Okay, gee, what does this mean? It means they met with a Colombian cocaine connection, he gave them a trunk of stuff, now they're moving it. All of this without surveillance, without informants, just from cell phones, Wi-Fi, and common sense. This is the future of monitoring of you. This is an artificial intelligence program which I have seen work and is already being implemented by 2 so-called national law enforcement organizations. Trust me. What I'm about to say, I'm saying because it's true, not because I don't like the FBI, and I don't like the FBI. But this happens to be true. The FBI is a genuinely inept bunch of guys as far as, you know, in the field investigation. And they try to resolve that by doing things like huge rewards, huge payments to informants, technical means, forming task forces where you've got a guy in his wingtip shoes working with 2 NYPD cops who really know how to go out and hit the bricks. They try to remedy it, but they're huge. They spend a fortune on technical means for surveillance and investigation. I guarantee you that this AI program or something very, very similar will be implemented, at least beta testing in the US within the next 6 months. Guaranteed. I give you my personal guarantee. Try to collect if I'm wrong, but I give you my personal guarantee. And by the way, most likely it's not going to be Don Vito and Joey the Hook. It's going to be Ahmed and Mohammed spent an hour in Sammy's shawarma shop. I'm going to show you something in a couple of minutes as far as monitoring. Let me tell you, I'm a New Yorker, and I've lived in Israel. So I've seen the worst of terrorism that there is. And yes, terrorism is an Islamic phenomenon, more than not. But even I'm horrified by the way people are being targeted because of their religion. And I'm going to give you an example in a second. So all of these technical means, I've got to tell you, they're going to be targeted at people who make the government nervous, who make the government concerned, who the government can't pigeonhole, like maybe hackers. Let me give you 2 real-world examples of cell phones for investigation. Center for Complex Network Research, Northeastern University in Boston, they went to the phone companies and they said, give us location activity for 100,000 cell phone users. And the telephone company said, yeah, okay, here you go. They were able to develop from proximity to cell sites and triangulation where those 100,000 people were over the space of a year. And they developed really, really detailed, population migration patterns and what people do on an average day. By the way, most of us, we don't go far from home. We're boring. We eat in the neighborhood. I mean, I could have told you that without a $5 million study, but nevertheless. Second example is a really good example of what I'm talking about. The CIA sent a team of approximately 30 agents to Italy, to Milan, to snatch a guy. Now, probably they snatched him just because of his name, which was Hassan Mustafa Osama Nasser. But ostensibly, they snatched him because he was involved in Al-Qaeda and setting up a local cell. And they did what these days is euphemistically called an extraordinary rendition, which means they threw him on a plane and they shipped him to a country where they do have open torture. And this guy was tortured and beaten and all the good stuff that happens. And then the CIA packed up their cloaks and daggers and left. Well, it came to the attention of the Italian police that some people appeared and kidnapped one of their citizens, one of their naturalized citizens. And because the Italians care more about their citizens than we do in America, they said, we're going to investigate. And they investigated. And there is now a trial of 26 CIA agents in absentia for this kidnapping. Now, how did they figure out who's who and what's what? First of all, they checked, when this guy was swooped up on the street, what cell phones were there. Aha! 5 of them were American cell phones. Wait, 5 American cell phones with consecutive numbers. Geniuses. You know, when I watch James Bond and they have Q and Q gives them like the exploding fountain pen and the revolving license plates, I like to think that the people protecting my life and liberty have access to the same thing. Instead of Q, they went to T-Mobile. No, really. They said, we need 30 GSM cell phones prepaid. And probably some guy picking his nose behind the counter said, okay, will this be cash or charge? Yeah, here's my CIA credit card. By the way, not much of an exaggeration. They all had consecutive MasterCard numbers too. This is not a joke. These people were traced to their hotels. The other 21 people that they were working with were discovered by cell phone proximity, by the fact that 24 of the 26 cell phone numbers were consecutive. I mean, first of all, just letting you know how easy it is. Second of all, sort of cringing in front of you about the state of my colleagues' conduct. Bottom line, anywhere you are with a cell phone, anything you do, anybody that you're with, your activity patterns, your likes, your dislikes, where you are on a day-to-day basis, whether you're awake, whether you're asleep, who you talk to on the phone, so on and so on and so on, your cell phone is ratting you out. New future. Why? Not because people really want to give you a digital proctology exam. People want to sell you stuff. Bob eats a lot of Chinese food. We know that from his MasterCard. It's 12:30. Bob is in motion. The location of his cell phone is 2 blocks away from a Chinese restaurant that advertises with us. Text message on Bob's cell phone. Hey Bob, hungry? Eating lunch yet? Wing Bing Bong's restaurant, 2 blocks down and to the left. You know what? If I was Bob, I'd say, hey, this is pissing me off, and yeah, Chinese sounds good. It's really a good marketing technique. Where do you spend your time, your activities? Now, by the way, this stuff is so accurate that there's a company in Israel developing something called M-Confirm. Bob is using his credit card in Milwaukee. Bob's not from Milwaukee. Bob's from Cleveland. I don't know. Why is Bob using his credit card in Milwaukee? Oh, it's okay. Bob's cell phone is right there where his credit card is being used. Confirm the transaction, let it go through. Or alternately, Bob's cell phone is in Cleveland, his credit card is in Milwaukee, deny the charge. Real world examples. If you are convicted of DWI in Riverside County, California, your bracelet and your cell phone are constantly tracked, are you going near a bar? Are you going near a car rental agency? If you do, a text message gets sent to your parole officer. Dallas County. If you are a habitual truant, you have to carry a GPS locator beacon, or you have to register your GPS cell phone with Dallas County school authorities. And by the way, I don't know how well you can see this, but these are little people, and then there's an icon of a guy in like a detective's hat and whatever. That's where the truant officer is. I mean, this is a pretty funny thing, but it really works. And if little Jimmy, who's been missing school all week, is not at school and they check his beacon and he's at the well, let's hope he's at the internet cafe, but he's probably not. You know, wherever he is, the little slouch hat, you're going to see it move closer on the map to where he is. Just one little creepy thing. This is a real screenshot from an iPhone. Google would like to use your current location. Welcome to the new world. Oh yeah, final word. Another prediction from the Swami Steve. I guarantee you that within a few months, we will see divorces caused by people's cell phone locators going blank. Bob's working late. For 3 hours, Bob's wife can't find his cell phone. When Bob comes home, there's a divorce lawyer on the porch. Guaranteed. This stuff I'm going to zip through, but I just want you to be aware of it. TV, TiVo, cable. Again, a window into your soul. What do you watch? When do you watch it? When are you home? How much time do you spend at home, frankly? What type of things do you like to watch on TV? It hasn't made the newspapers, but it's made ad magazines. TiVo is selling all your data and all your watching history. Money. Money is one of the best ways to track you, mainly because the government is nervous about you and money, so they've mandated as much tracking as they can. There's now something called the 21st Century Act, which has been implemented. When you deposit a check, it clears instantly. They scan it right through that little spinning machine. The information goes to your bank before you're out the door of where you deposited it. Credit cards. Everything is going towards a cashless society. And all of this is tracked and put into databases. By the way, you open a new bank account, that bank runs you through an Experian database. It's no longer just a government database that lists all of the bank accounts and all of the banking relationships. It's in private databases now also. Now we're going to move on to target marketing and intensely targeted marketing. Meaning you're the target. People want to sell you stuff. This is not, by definition, a sinister thing. This is one of the big engines of capitalism. I want to know what you like and what you might buy for two reasons. Number one, so I can sell it to you. And number two, so I don't waste all my budget and all my time and piss off millions of people by sending them ads for widgets they may not want or need. I want to know the 4,000 people in this country who are interested in my book, who are interested in my car, whatever. And the technology and the databases to determine who you are, what you like, the deepest, most intimate things about you has grown so enormously that it's now able to finally define things down, not just to a group of people, but to you. Every time you subscribe to something, every time you call a toll-free number, every product survey or product registration you put in, every time you do a survey on the net, every credit card purchase, every affinity purchase, it all goes into this massive marketing conglomeration. Your likes, your dislikes, your habits, your religion, your politics, your sexual orientation. This is what I used to talk about 6 years ago, before everything was, or 8 years ago,